Okay, we are recording. All right, welcome guys to this is our second Long Island blockchain virtual meetup. We had one a couple of weeks ago, went pretty well, and we're at it again. So we'll start the night off with some introductions. I'll kick it off here. My name is Nick Salvaggio. I'm here in East Islip, New York, on Long Island, and I'm mega interested in blockchain. I've been kind of interested in it for a couple of years now. I run a development shop here on Long Island called Sego Solutions, and I'm the director of IT for a company called American Diagnostic Corporation. We're a medical device manufacturer. I'm just interested in a lot of different pieces of technology, and my goal with this group is really to connect as many people as possible and just learn from each other and kind of just keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on in blockchain, and hopefully eventually do some work in blockchain. I'd love to be able to find my place and add some value. So that's me. I guess, Sharon, do you want to kick it off?
Okay, sure, yeah. I'm in Eastport on Long Island. My name is Sharon Byrne-Cotter, and I'm a technology program manager. My most recent role was actually in banking, Bank in New York Mellon, but I took a break and I'm now interviewing, actively looking for a role in blockchain, even at a lower level, lower salary, because I'm captivated by blockchain and I want to be part of it. And then I saw these Meetup and I said that would be interesting as well. So here I am.
Awesome. Well, welcome. Thank you for connecting. All right, Jamal.
My name is Jamal Solomon. I am not a Texan. I'm actually a tax accountant. And the way that I found blockchain was that the IRS is coming after people. And I said, okay, let me see what the IRS is doing. And the more I researched about blockchain, the potential of it, I became very fascinated about it. And also I do financial literacy programs. And so my goal is to get more and do more programs to teach people about financial literacy, but in a non-technical way, because a lot of times when you talk about blockchain, people get intimidated. So my goal is to learn as much as I can so I can break it down simply, in financial literacy programs. So I just want to connect with people, learn everything that I can.
Awesome. Thanks for connecting.
And I guess that leaves just me. So my name's Craig Rudis. I also hail from Long Island. Nick and I started building this Long Island blockchain group, and it's clearly just, in its introductory stages. A little bit about me. I've been working in the financial services sector. I've worked at UBS, Bank of America, Deutsche Bank. I got introduced to blockchain when one of my executives asked me to go hire a bunch of blockchain developers, and I had no idea what that was. So I went and looked up what that was, found it to be the most fascinating thing since the internet, and, sought to learn as much of it as I can and work in the field as much as I can. With UBS, I got involved with one of their blockchain programs. I think there's a lot of opportunity to grow our community here. I like to think that what we're doing will bring new innovation and incubate great ideas. So, we'll continue to host these meetups and try and promote the growth of our members. And to that point, Sharon, I know you're looking to work in blockchain. I'm sure you've already looked into Consensus, but they happen to be one of the largest hiring managers in the blockchain space right now. So,
yeah, like I am actually interviewing with them at the moment and pretty close. So just can't really confirm on that, but almost. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome, guys. So thanks again for connecting, and hopefully I'm sharing the screen here. And the topic I kind of wanted to kick off the discussion on tonight was the Brave browser. And how many folks here have heard of the Brave browser?
Never heard.
I've heard.
Okay, awesome. So it's pretty new. So that's good. It's pretty new to me as well. I've been following along with the development a bit. It's one of these projects that I think has a ton of energy around it right now. Partly, I mean, not partly because, but there's some pretty strong talent that's involved with the project. The founder of it is Brendan Ike, who is an individual, very talented individual that he created JavaScript. He started Mozilla. So he's got some pretty.
And even before that, he was Netscape. So he is legitimately considered the father of the internet.
Yeah, so he's got some good, he's got a good kind of that's some clout right there for sure. So the Brave project, there's a couple of levels of what it does, and I'll just kind of try to break it down. And if anybody has any questions, I'm not like presenting this, so I want this to be more of a discussion. So interrupt me at any time. The Brave browser is a web browser. From what I understand, it is built on Chromium, which is basically the open source version of Chrome, which Chrome is actually built on as well. So a lot of the kind of internals, like the rendering engine and all that type of stuff, is still Chrome. But on top of that, they built a lot of privacy conscious features into the browser. And I think that's really, really awesome. Right now, if I am sharing my screen, I am in the Brave browser, and there's a couple of really interesting features that just come out of the gate with it. It's got an integrated ad blocker within it, so it'll just completely block out all the trackers and all of the kind of mal ads that would come down on normal websites. And the cool part is that by default, it actually shows you in the blank tab how many trackers it's blocked, how many minutes it's actually saved you in page load time. So I don't actually have it as my default browser just yet. I switched over to my default for a couple of weeks, and then for some reason I switched back because I probably got pulled into like some presets I had saved or something. But on my screen now, I have what it's blocked for me so far, and it's blocked 772 trackers, 22,000 ads. It automatically upgrades the websites that aren't HTTPS, so like your encrypted connection. So it is encrypted. 92 sites have been upgraded, and it says it saved me about 20 minutes so far in browsing time, which is I think pretty damn cool.
And to add to that, think about the bandwidth it saved you. So Brendan was on a podcast, and he was talking about obviously his reason for building this tool, and he quoted that something like 50% of your bandwidth is allocated to these third-party ads. So wow. Not only are you eliminating all these vulnerabilities because each of the cookies that exist, each of the ads that have all of these third-party handshakes, that they all introduce these vulnerabilities. But now, what Brendan really wanted to do is redefine how we do advertising on the internet. And instead of, what ended up happening with the internet and how it evolved is these companies consolidate all of your user data, and they continue to sell it, to resell for the ad space. So what Brave is going to do is it's blocking those ad spaces, but it's going to create a space where you can opt into user-defined ads. So it's really going to put the power back to the viewer, the browser.
So can you expand, what do you mean the user can opt in to user-defined ads? So I can choose what I want to be advertised.
You can choose that you want to see ads, and the reason you would do it is you can receive revenue in the form of their BAT token.
Right, I get you, yeah.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. It's not 100% there yet. They don't have this advertising piece 100% developed. But the idea is that there's this token called the BAT token. It stands for the Basic Attention Token, and by using Yeah, yeah. So the idea is that by using the browser, and this sounds a little not very privacy centric, but they say that it's not being shared. By using the browser's actually analyzing where you spend your attention. And the BAT token is trying to monetize that attention through publishers, folks that have websites like that create content, can basically say that they can accept BAT tokens as payment, and the browser itself will automatically distribute the BAT tokens from our wallets, which is internal to the Brave browser, to these content producers automatically based on how much attention we give them, and it analyzes that attention automatically. So we're not necessarily consciously making payments to these sites. The browser is actually doing it for us, but we're holding BAT tokens within our wallet, which is also our browser, and that's distributing that value to the people that we spend the most time with or give our most attention to.
And keep in mind what this implies is that in order to monetize it, you'll have to fund your browser with this BAT token. And it's really going to be a culture shift from the internet as we know it now, where everyone logs onto the internet and expects everything for free. And Brendan recognizes that this is, not an easy task, which is why they've done effectively the ICO for the BAT coin on the Ethereum, because it's a fundraise where he's trying to get enough money initially so that they can self-fund to the publishers and start the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds a little like, though not like, because it's a browser, but it's like that company Civil that's trying to do journalism with a token. Yep. And you pay for, it's similar but much smaller, just journalism.
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't really read too much about Civil, but I have heard about it. Is that so that's something where you can fund actual journalists directly with a token?
Yeah. That's one of Consensus folks. I think their last ICO didn't go so well, but the concept is that instead of journalists writing good investigative journalist articles and then they're tweaked by the political mindset of whatever publication they go into, they just come in as they are and people pay to read and follow journalists that they identify with and trust, as opposed to a newspaper that might have a slant one way or the other. That's the concept, very simplistically.
Interesting. Yeah, it definitely sounds like there's some correlation there. Because, I mean, if a journalist has a blog that he or she publishes content on, and we spend a lot of time on it, it sounds like these BAT tokens would flow in their direction because they're gaining attention. So it seems like it's very similar.
So the BAT token, right? So say if you earn it because you say, well, I've loads of time, so I'm going to let the ads flow. Then what can you use it to buy? See, this is what I always find. If the killer app, like if I could use my tokens on one of these apps to actually go and spend on Amazon or something, it becomes actually tangible and usable. So that's the thing, it's that transition.
Well, through the interoperability of the coins and the blockchains that exist now, we can do that. You have these services like Changelly and Shapeshift. So if you are an owner of the BAT token, you can shift it into whether it be Bitcoin or Ethereum or one of these currencies that the resellers are accepting. And we are seeing that them accept Bitcoin in some fashion or another.
Yeah, except you can't access Shapeshift in New York.
No.
Unless you use a VPN. But yeah. But yeah, if you could convert it and then someone like Overstock, you can use Bitcoin or something there. But if people actually experience getting something for it, it would be like SMS texting on cell phones. That's what brought everyone in. You know, something simple that you can buy, coffee or something.
Yeah. Well, the Brave browser had been around since 2015. And Nick, I don't know if you have it in front of you, but do you know when the BAT token was generated? It certainly was in 2015. Because the usage of cryptocurrency, I don't know if that was originally his intent. His intent was to fix the improper handshakes that go on with advertising right now. You know, you have all of these vulnerabilities that get introduced to the websites, and you know, Brendan, being the IT security at heart, wants to fix it. And the introduction of cryptocurrencies, I think, just kind of fit wonderfully into his model.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like March 2017 is when they announced the BAT project, which is the token. It's an Ethereum based token. I'm assuming it's an ERC20 token.
Yeah. You know, Chris actually asked me something interesting about that. I wonder if they're looking to spawn off and create their own blockchain off of Ethereum, or if they plan to live on Ethereum throughout.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure there. That's looks like they integrated with Twitch and a year later. That seems interesting. So now,
look, I see they have a BAT store, a Brave BAT store. I haven't downloaded it. I'm just on their website, and you can buy T-shirts and things. So you could use your tokens for that.
Yeah, I mean they are exchangeable too. I mean some of the popular exchanges do allow you to purchase Brave tokens and sell them. I think, I mean they're not worth much. I don't think. I think they're worth a couple of cents.
They're worth a quarter right now.
They're a quarter?
Yep, it's right there on the front of my screen.
You know, that gets me thinking though. Like Jamal, from your perspective as a tax professional.
Mm-hmm.
If we're we're earning BAT on our blog, people are spending a lot of time on it. Now I could take that BAT and say convert it to Bitcoin, and then I can go ahead and buy something on the internet that from a vendor that accepts Bitcoin, which there's a good amount of them. From a tax perspective, is there anything we need to do? Like, or are we getting kind of like we're not going to have to?
Well, it's very important to know the cost basis. So I don't know with Brave how you can keep track of the cost basis, because the moment you use it to buy any type of product, you know, that's a taxable transaction. So what I'm learning right now, the major issue right now that people have when they report on a tax return is remembering the cost basis or keeping track of the cost basis.
Yeah. Each specific transaction is a taxable event, and that really doesn't fit the model of these cryptocurrency worlds all that well.
That's what's going to hurt it. That's why I'm researching it.
Yeah,
because buying a pizza is going to be like expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that's interesting. That's it. Okay, Craig.
Go ahead. No, I was just say the tax implications, and Jamal, I'm glad you joined us. The tax implications are things that we've wanted to explore and discuss for quite a while. We know the general principles, but they haven't truly been applied all that well, especially, last tax return. What they say, 3% of people, reported their cryptocurrency assets.
Yeah, and that's why I'm in the middle of 2019. I'm definitely I'm creating an online crypto tax course, and also I'll probably do some seminars about it, because the IRS knows there's a lot of money left on the table, especially due to 2017, what happened during those years, and they're going to get very aggressive in the next coming years, which might actually hurt the growth of cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I would think it would. I mean, there's probably a lot of people sitting on money they don't want to pay taxes on right now, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I didn't know about the options of donating it and people inheriting it. So it goes a lot deeper than people think. The same issues that you have with the stocks and selling it is the same issues with cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, we definitely want to develop those topics a little bit more in terms of the financial implications, tax accountant, all the law that seems to be in development right now around all these technologies. It's interesting to see how the technology is moving so quick, and I almost feel like it's impossible for a lot of the law and this stuff to keep up with what's happening. And how do you create a framework, a legal framework and a financial framework that can kind of jive with what's going on in the technology, right? And it's probably been a problem even outside of blockchain, right, for many years.
Well, I mean, I would think that's why they've been so hesitant to make statements on the nature of the assets. I think Susan Lewin just made a statement, but she's no longer in an official role. But it's been hard to get that clarification. They did just announce a very interesting fintech hub that the SEC is sponsoring, and I'm sure that's going to be a very heavily used portal for a lot of these questions.
But let me ask you a question, because you sound like you're tech people. By me researching the tax thing, I kind of see the limitations with the cryptocurrency, and it is my personal belief, and I don't know if I may be wrong, that maybe the true potential of blockchain is these smart contracts that I'm going to look more into. Is that where it's heading?
I tend to agree that there's a lot of power in smart contracts. I mean, you think about it, the smart contracts is a way for us to develop software that runs in a distributed fashion on these blockchains, right? So if you look at Ethereum, for example, which is kind of I would say one of the more popular platforms for developing smart contracts, you could do a lot of really interesting things with some of the logic you can bake into the smart contracts, like writing little insurance contracts, like if this happens, then do this, and you can be assured through the very nature of the blockchain that code is going to execute exactly how you said it's going to execute, right? And there's pros and cons to that. If you have a bug or a security hole, it's going to be exposed. But I think there's a lot of potential with smart contracts for sure.
I don't see, and this is clearly going to be speculation, but I don't see a world where you have a public blockchain that won't be running the smart contracts and the virtual machines that Ethereum is doing. Even Bitcoin itself is looking to continue upgrading and forking where they're going to allow those smart contracts. I don't think that you'll be able to hard code this token to be only that store of value, at least not as it exists right now on a public blockchain. What you may see is a government come out and create a coin that acts as that store of value, does not have that virtual machine and execute smart contracts, but they obviously would not run it on a public blockchain, but instead would host some type of private blockchain with to be seen consensus mechanisms.
Yeah, interesting. And there's a lot of standards too coming out in terms of I'll call them kind of templates for how you should develop smart contracts to make them be able to talk to each other in a reliable way. So like things like the BAT token, for example, the reason why the BAT token can be exchanged in many respects and kind of interfaced to with other software is because it follows a standard. It follows this ERC-20 standard that is openly being developed through the Ethereum community. And it's, it implements certain functions that we know are going to exist. So it's not, every single smart contract isn't necessarily this unique piece of software, right? It's following these patterns that are these standards that are coming out, and people are following them to many respects. Like the other popular one is like the 720 token, right? It's a 720. I always get that messed up, but the
721.
721. I always forget the one. I don't know why. I guess 20 and 21. I don't know. But that whole non-fungible token where you can basically make like baseball cards and things, or things that are unique, right? And there's a slew of ideas that are being developed around that. And then because it follows a standard, it can be interchanged. So I can trade you a card for another card, or something like that.
Yeah, I think coming back to the tax, smart contracts and gaming and maybe this kind of browser will become little ecosystems all by themselves, where people just use that token within that world, and it's never exchanged back to a fiat currency. So it's never any value for any tax man. It's just going to be, I have regular fiat money that I use to pay my electricity bill, my car payment, whatever. But for my pleasure, I spend my times on games, and I use my coins where I earn money for hosting or viewing, and I use it and earn pleasure that way. And it's just totally like its own separate world, whereas I think crypto is making everybody aware of the blockchain, and the bubble pulled loads of us in, but it's going to be the smart contracts and these tokens staying within their own digital world. I think that will excel first. And then somebody's going to have to say, well, if we're going to play at this, we need to really have a currency, and then maybe one of the currencies or a US pegged dollar currency will become a reality. But I think it'll just travel in parallel as a curious thing for a while.
Yeah, I could see that happening. The one where my mind always struggles with that is if that is the case, it's something that's been happening for many years, right? If you look at like Xbox and all these different platforms, they've had this idea of a credit that you can use within their gaming world. But I think the power resides where if that credit, that Microsoft credit, can be extrapolated out of Microsoft and then kind of shared amongst the whole gaming community. So we can choose what platforms we want to use, what games we want to play, but maybe all these tokens are convertible into each game that we want to play. So say if I play WoW, right, or something like that, and I make a bunch of WoW money, whatever that's called, and now I want to go over to another game, I can maybe take my wealth, my quote unquote wealth in WoW, and bring it to that game, which is not really possible today, right?
Gaming users have been trying to do that for years. You saw what Diablo, I think, was one of the first ones where you had these quote unquote companies who were farming in Diablo 2 all of the equipment that you can gather, and then they were immediately selling it on eBay. And it's people will look to take advantage wherever they can and convert it however they can to their best optimal situation. Maybe that is US dollars, but within this digital world, everything can be transferred immediately.
Yeah. So if you can find things that you can buy like you would with dollars, then you're not going to leave the world, right? So that's what I'm saying. If you can find something you can buy in exchange, that you don't need any fiat in the equation, that's the game changer. And an example of that might be, I don't know if you've heard of this application, considered the alternative to YouTube, TEDA, THETA, and it's a blockchain built on top of Silver TV, which is in China. And what it is it's distributed. So like my laptop here, I can connect to the network and I can host some videos and I can get paid tokens for whoever, streams them from me. And then I can use those tokens to watch other videos. That's what they're about. I mean, like the game thing a bit.
Interesting. Yeah,
I mean, and that's what we're going to continue to see in this ecosystem. I think when there were it may have died down a little bit, but the net neutrality, when that was getting repealed, that's a vulnerability for crypto, and blockchain space. But some of the innovation and ideas that came out behind it is the model of sharing your internet. So you basically, each laptop can be its own mesh router point, and by giving bandwidth to users near you, you can continue to earn a coin and basically redistribute your own internet, ecosystem.
Exactly, and you'd have more bandwidth if you use a browser like Brave, from what you're saying at the beginning. So to share.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm on the Tether site right now, and they got a pretty.
So I think it's really it's 2019. I think it's the last quarter of 2019. It really goes live, but they are in beta or whatever, alpha, whatever they call it. I don't know which one. But you can actually log on and earn tokens just at the moment.
Interesting. This reminds me a little bit of, I think there's one, what's it called? DTube?
DTube. Yeah, but I think that's centralized, is it? It's just an alternative to YouTube. I don't know for sure, though.
Somebody actually recommended me to do my cryptocurrency videos, because I usually do 3 1-minute cryptocurrency videos a week. And he told me to sign up for that, and I just signed up for it. And I'm going to see, probably start using it within the next couple of weeks.
Right.
Awesome.
And maybe is it distributed, do you know, or is it? I
think it's built on the Steam token.
Yeah, the Steam. You got to sign up with Steam first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks interesting. I mean, they basically publish how much these videos are actually making in USD. And I'm not sure. I'm not too familiar with the Steam token, though. I think it's distributed, right? I mean,
I think pretty sure
Steam
that's probably distributed.
Yeah. I just don't know about DTube, but probably is if they're associated.
Yeah, it feels like there's some opportunities here on this. It's very young, and there's I mean, Jamal, if you're posting that 3 videos a week, it seems like this is probably a platform where it may be easier to break into than something like YouTube, right? Because it's kind of a younger.
Yeah, because I thought I could just go directly to it, but once you try to log in, that's when they send you to the Steam, and then it takes about a couple of days to verify you, and then you're able to get into that stuff. And then they give you this long code as your password. And if you lose it, you can't get back in. It's like,
oh, geez.
It's like 40 characters, something ridiculous.
Nice. Cool.
See, that's the thing about this technology is it's just not user friendly either. Like, just in the way you describe your code, which is the speed and all. And the way like the masses now are on Facebook and everything. We're still so early. We have to work it out for ourselves, and then there needs to be another layer to simplify it because it's just too complex.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
Is definitely too complex, but I feel reassured that we have some of the most brilliant minds in technology all working towards this ecosystem. This cryptocurrency, distributed ledger, and blockchain technology, it's not going anywhere. And we are definitely in the very, very early stages. What is Bitcoin itself? I get that Bitcoin was created in 2008, but nobody adopted it. You really saw what Ethereum was in 2014, I think. And they still consider themselves Ethereum 1.0, if that. And they're moving towards Ethereum, what they call Ethereum 2.0, and I'm sure we're going to see some really exciting things that come out of DevCon, which I think kicked off today and will be taking place for the next 3 days. So that's their annual developers meeting. I'm sure we're going to see some really cool things, but we are definitely at the very early stages of this.
But it's exciting, isn't it? You sort of feel like, as you say, you just get involved and you start to learn more and more. And it's just so energizing. And you think, what could be? And it's sort of like a major TV show. You're just dying to see the outcome.
Yeah.
Well, I got to say, it's also like the lottery, not for the speculative asset nature, but because you get to think about, well, what would I do in this ideal world? If I win the lottery, you think about all the things you would buy and, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But here you are with blockchain technology. And you're like, man, if we can just fix this, and this, and then tomorrow you're like, oh, well, there's all these other use cases that are totally unrelated, but will benefit all the same. And this is a way of the future.
Yeah. It's just amazing.
Yeah, as you guys are talking here, I'm just kind of browsing through the DevCon topics and agenda, and there's a bunch of great stuff here. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the videos that come out of this. I think they probably record all these, I hope, and post them.
Yeah,
I
hope so, ones. Yeah.
I mean, you usually find most of the DevCon 3 replays, so I would imagine somewhere we'll be able to find all the DevCon 4 replays.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we just to kind of come full circle here, with the Brave token, I actually went ahead and set up liblockchain.org as a publisher to be able to accept BAT tokens, just as an experiment, and it was actually pretty easy to set up. I'm curious. I have a bunch of BAT tokens in my browser now. And I'm going to try to consciously just spend time on LI blockchain to see if anything actually happens. I don't think it's actually built yet, so I don't think anything's going to happen. But I'm curious if there's any kind of flow of that to LI blockchain at all. And if there ever was, that would be awesome. And we can kind of maybe buy pizza in 4 or 5 years. And
yeah.
Well, I'll be installing Brave as my default browser for the next couple of weeks. So we'll see what we can integrate.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just a placebo. I don't think it is, but it feels much, much faster. I mean, I just, as we were talking before, I went to CNN and there's a little icon here where you could show how many ads are being blocked on a site, and I'm just sitting here and it's just ticking up and up in terms of the ads and trackers, and it feels like the page just loads a lot faster because you're not bringing down those ads. It's probably not a placebo. It probably is a lot faster.
It is faster, and I'll let the expert at the end of this call on our Meetup page and on LI Blockchain, I'll post a link to the podcast that Brendan does in one of the interviews. And Nick, it'll certainly make more sense to you, but he explains all of the handshakes and that open these vulnerabilities that Brave browser now blocks. And, even to my, muggle ears, it sounded like, how could we even be sitting on Chrome when it exposes us in such a way, or in Internet Explorer, or Firefox and all these other ones.
Yeah. Cool. All right, guys. So we're just about on an hour right now. I kind of wanted to cut it out an hour so the video isn't that long. I think we had a pretty good conversation here. We went through a lot of different things and some takeaways. I definitely want to read more about Theta token and Civil and things like that. And I'm looking forward to the next one of these. Hopefully, you guys got something out of this.
Yeah, it was really great. Thank you very much for setting it up.
Yeah, great job.
Awesome, cool. So we're gonna probably do this pretty frequently. I mean, every couple of weeks we'll probably have it. It doesn't really take much to put it on. You just post a link and get on a call for a little bit. So we'll probably do it pretty frequently. I would expect next one we're probably gonna be talking a bit more of what happened at DevCon. Because there's just going to be a mountain of news coming out of that. So I'm sure there's going to be some topics there. We also want to talk about business continuity, which is more of kind of a business-focused kind of discussion. The gentleman that wanted to talk about that works in the space wasn't able to get connected tonight, so that's why we shifted around the topic a bit. So that actually probably would be the next one as the core topic. But
as long as Rich will join. But to that point, Jamal, Sharon, if there's something that you want to explore a little bit deeper and have that, open forum conversation, please give us that feedback and we'll do our research and we'll all come to the tables and see what we can talk about.
Nice. Sure, will do.
Awesome. And Jamal, post some links to your content too in our group, and we'd love to share what you're doing.
How do I do that? Just put it on the Meetup.
Yeah, you can put it up in the Meetup. And also too, if you wanted to, you could post it to the blog too on LI Blockchain. I mean, we really wanted to put this site together as kind of a community site, not like a site that necessarily we're just kind of controlling and. Yeah.
Quick question. I put lablockchain.org and it's not coming up.
Oh, yeah? liblockchain.org?
Oh, LI. I'm putting Long Island.
Oh, yeah, LI.
I thought we bought that domain, the Long Island Blockchain.org one as well.
Yeah, I thought we did too. Let me see. Long Island Blockchain. Oh, you know what? My web server is not configured properly. It's going to the Nginx page.
Yeah, still have that problem.
Because I'm putting that right now and it's not going. The LI blockchain and it's not going.
Really? Just liblockchain.org?
Yep.
Is there a www in front of that?
Yeah, www.
Take that
www. I think you have to call the wwws.
Looks like I have a little bit of web configuring to do on the server. Yeah.
I'm able to get
got
to it. I just, your HTTPS and there it is.
Okay, good.
Okay,
good.
Cool.
So yeah, I mean, if you can sign up, we'll get you the access to the forum. We'll start posting it, and we'll help promote your material.
Yeah, excellent.
Great. Well, thanks very much, guys. Talk to you at the next meeting, hopefully.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for connecting, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Have a great night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.